Hello, Spider friends.
Spiderlings.
That's what Stan Lee calls his fans, the Spider fans. So that's why, he created Spider-Man, Shout out to Stan the Man. I am Travis the Man Snail.
I am Pickle Puss, Dylan.
The Weber Kyle Smith.
The Weber!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second episode of the Spider-Man Retrospective. We're continuing our ongoing series of talking about Spider-Man, the 1994 animated series on Fox. We are doing episodes 4 to 6. Now, as we did last time...
Not 4, 2, and 6, but 4, 5,
4,
and 6.
2, and 6. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. So as we did last time, how did you guys feel on these 3 episodes?
These 3 I was much more fond of. Mm-hmm. I should say more specifically 4 and 5 I really liked. 6 not so much.
Okay.
But I really liked 4 and 5. I thought they were actually really, really solid.
Okay.
Agree as well too. I thought there's a lot more going on and kind of a lot more of a story, I guess, than just kind of what was happening the first 3 bland shows that we watch.
Oh yeah, I would say this is a highly improvement of something that's in the show previously. It feels more like the tone of what the show turns into. It's more fun. It's better paced, these episodes. It feels like where like we talked about before, the Spider-Slayer episodes felt slow, and they're 20 minutes. Yeah, and they felt slow. You're like something was off. But with these, they find their footing,
hit their groove.
Yeah, and for me, I actually liked all the episodes. I liked them quite a bit. Even we'll get into 6, but I like them quite a bit. So I definitely a much better 3 than the first 3.
Right.
So we can. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something, Dylan, before we?
I was just gonna say, I think the reason for me, if you guys just listen to episode 1, you know that I wasn't a huge fan of this rendition of Spider-Man. I feel like he just talks a lot, narrates way too much. And what I liked about specifically 4 and 5 is, well, 6 as well. They cut back on that, but also it's just a lot more of the villain. So there's just less of him by default. And it's not necessarily that, but it's also I really like the villains of 4 and 5, right? So,
yeah, and I think that's the thing when we were talking about again with the Spider Slayers and even Lizard. Lizard, you can't. I guess he can talk and he had a mind, but it's so if you take Lizard out, with Spider Slayers, you don't spend much time with the villains. And Smythe, the Smythes to me, as of right now, he gets buried later on, but they're kind of boring. Kingpin's in the shadows, so he's not doing much.
You just slot him.
Yeah, Norman's just kind of around, so it's Spider Slayers. You're not gonna You're gonna have maybe 35-50% of the episode with them? No, because they're robots. You're not going to find out their arc. It's where these each villain, they did a good job of introducing them. So we go on the first episode. Dr. Octopus, armed and dangerous. Get it, armed and dangerous. When Peter arrives for a date with we introduced it before, but you can go watch them on Netflix Canadian. There's on YouTube. Yeah. If not, I break down the plot of every single one. So if you've seen it before, you know where we're going. When Peter arrives for his date with Felicia Hardy, she is kidnapped by the corrupt scientist Dr. Octavia. Dr.
Octavius.
Yeah,
Dr. Octopus.
The Wikipedia does not have that. That was the fanboy. I went to call him Octavius, but they're no, he's just Doc Ock. In order to force her mother to provide him with ransom, in which she promised to fund his experiments. Complicating things, Peter recognizes the Madman as his favorite science mentor from his childhood days. Ooh. So I think the two for his one, I think they set his origin up both of theirs. How he knows Doc Ock really well, and the origin of he has promised this money, he has promised all this funding, and then they didn't go through with it, and he tried to do it his own way, and it resulted in the suit getting fused to his spine. Brutal. Fused to his spine. Brutal. So I thought both those, the connection with the hero and villain, and the villain's motives made sense. I think Doc Ock maybe was a little too evil near the end, but that's just, I think, villain. He's just he's gone now. He's a villain now. But the setup was really good.
And he's a smart villain as well, too. That's what
he's a doctor.
Oh, yeah, obviously. But, Dr. Connors was... Connors?
Yeah, and you didn't think he was... Well, I guess because he's a lizard, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah, right?
He's high IQ, it doesn't mean he's smart.
I guess we'll look to later, but, near towards the end, you think Peter's going to outsmart him, but he gets outsmarted.
And even though he does outsmart Peter a couple times, too. So it's
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Because, Spider-Man he's very much a science dude. His web technology, all this good stuff. He's all about science. And so, you see that...
reload the cartridges.
Yeah, this is his favorite science teacher. This guy had perhaps a huge influence in his life.
I think he did.
I think he did.
Because he was talking about he was bullied,
and
too.
That's what I really like about Dr. Octopus is some of the lines he says... he just like understands Spider-Man's power. He understands like where he's limited and where he's weak, and I really like that. Whereas the other episodes, it's just like, we're going to send a giant mechanical spider at you and
Good luck.
see what happens.
Yeah.
Blow you up some lasers. That's,
No, I think you did a good breakdown of the character. Like, and he comes off... Like there is other scientists in the show, but he kind of comes off as an actual scientist. He feels very smart.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel one-dimensional, which happens a lot in these type of shows because it's a 20-minute cartoon, So it's like... He feels fleshed out. And yeah, I like the setup with him and Peter and like the science class, everything like that. And you get to see, even if he's very villainous now, in the flashbacks, he seems like a really nice person. Yeah. And he seems like he was a good guy. And now stuff's obviously gone down
he
the
sees
drain.
that someone who's interested in science and is helping them and pushing them to be more into science.
Yeah, and then it comes back around when he does like the ransom, which I'll say in this episode, Doc Ock's just obsessed with people bringing him ransom. Anytime he talks to him on his phone, like, you need to bring me the ransom to Jonah. And then
but he always has some plan.
Oh yeah, he does, and that's what's good. But it was just funny if you talk to him about ransom, it was it. And this is the reoccurring theme is Jonah's kidnapped in this episode. That's 2 in a row so far, with 3 and 4. And I'll spoil it. He does, and 5 and 6 also get captured.
Yeah.
By the main villain at the end. Yeah, he does. Yeah. So 4 in a row. I have not watched 7 yet. I can't remember what's coming up. I've legitimately not watched 7. I've not. Hopefully he doesn't get captured. But every episode ends with Spider-Man. Having to save Jonah, and Jonah for some reason still
Jonah does come around later on though, a little bit. Episode 6 comes around a little bit.
A little after he does something a little heinous, but
we'll get there. But no, I was gonna say you did mention how he does have 2 separate like ransoms, and that's like his plan. Is like he sets up a ransom, but I like that because at one point too, Spider-Man has some plan to like take him out using the magnetic machine, and he's like, I'm not gonna fall for the same trick twice, and I really like that because.
And then he throws that device, and he's like, "Oh, I can't let that break," and then he catches it. Very good way to.
Yeah, and so I like that he kind of is learning from as he goes along.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with Spider-Man. He's a good hero that way. Like
using
he's smart.
His, quote, my unbreakable hydraulic tentacles. I love it.
I liked how Spider-Man realized he can't be Spider-Man to like get towards Doc Ock. That he has to become Peter Parker and to work his way.
Yeah, the emotional strings attached.
Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know. That's what I really enjoyed about this episode. It was just more of his interaction of, this is...
There's some history between these two. Yeah. These two fighting, yeah.
It's funny. It's in 20 minutes. So you get all of this information.
Oh, I know. Episode 4 is so good.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I'm just trying to find out... That wasn't the episode where he quit, was it?
Who?
Spider-Man? Being Spider-Man?
No.
Okay, good. Because when you said that he feels he had to be... Peter's okay. No,
do you understand what I mean though?
No, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah,
I think it's the next up. I
believe it's number 5.
Yeah, because that first one I thought I got it mixed up. I was like, yeah, but he does it in a cowardly way. But anyway, so no, I think that's good. And he has that moment of he doesn't just need to be Spider-Man to get something done. So I think we talk about this every episode. I think his plan makes sense. Doc Ock's, he wants his money. He's kidnapping the corporation.
One thing I really like about this is that, he has like all these. There's a lot of things going on in Dr. Octopus's lab. He's got a lot, but it's all kind of powered by this little device, his prized possession, and it's literally just a tiny yellow Death Star. And I was like, that's just awesome.
Yeah, but did you okay with the plan? Makes sense. Hostage. Money.
I think he made sense. I also we didn't really mention this, but I really love his look. I love that haircut.
The haircut,
so dang.
Haircut with the glasses,
so 90s.
And I love his voice too. Yeah,
the voice is good.
I just thought he looked cool too, sounded good, all that good stuff.
Well, I think that's one thing that helps this show probably stand out in fans' mind now after so many years is the voice acting is really good with everybody. Like with so far there hasn't been a voice where I'd be like, oh yeah, that stands out.
Spider-Man has already grown on me in 6 episodes. I didn't like it at first.
Nice, where he's turning the corner.
It's because he's not talking literally every frame of the show now. So.
Let's say so. Now this is when we can really get into. I wanted to get into last episode, but we couldn't. So. Second episode, he had a kind of fling with Felicia. We kind of got that thing. And then the third episode ends with you hit the jackpot and he's going on a date. Yeah. But in this episode, he's having a date with Felicia. So it's like, this is when we're getting into that. He's kind of the macho, like, playing both sides sort of thing. Because, like, to me, I thought, and I remember the show not as well, I guess, but I thought, okay, like he was kind of with Felicia until he met MJ, and that's when he's more focused on her.
Yeah.
The last episode ends with MJ, but then he's just back dating to Felicia, and like,
he doesn't know what he wants.
is that it, or is he? Is he kind
Maybe
of?
he wants both.
Yeah.
I don't really know at this point, to be honest. I'm still kind of confused of what's going on between like the relationships between both of them.
I find it a little muddled, to be honest.
I think I personally would be pretty struck if I was in between that situation, because they're both pretty cool in their own ways.
Well, I will not say because I know, but I'll take bets. Who do you think he gets more seriously involved with first? When it comes down to the pick.
Well, he's gonna have a quick fling with Felicia, and then realize not about that life and go back to good old Mary Jane.
Okay, that's Dylan's prediction. Kyle.
I'm gonna say he's gonna stick out with Felicia.
He's gonna stick out?
How long?
Until something that I feel like MJ will do
I'm
something.
talking like episodes. How long? What do you think? No.
Well, you've seen the first
You said stick out, and stick out makes it sound
like stick it out, like be with her. Like I think he's
for a while.
He's gonna try to be more with Felicia. Okay. Because she's playing the hard to get. Meanwhile, he's like, oh, I have MJ. Like, she wants to hang out with me all the time.
Well, I mean...
I don't think he really...
He doesn't quite have MJ.
No, because MJ gets very mad in the next episode at him.
She gets fired up.
Mm-hmm. But then forgets him very easily, which we'll get into.
Well, forgive and forget.
I think that's going to be a recurring theme, because the love situation to me is very muddled, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, he's dating MJ, but then he's dating Felicia, and yeah, I guess he's in college, but like, the way Peter makes it sound, he sounds like he wants a girlfriend. He sounds like he wants a committed...
He wants to settle down.
Yeah, already. So it's like this back and forth, it's kind of like, it's a little strange, you know? I have one scene in here that I thought was great. Alicia goes, oh, it's kind of chilly out there. And then Peter goes, I'll keep you warm. And then Felicia runs upstairs and says, I'll get my jacket. Just purely shut down. Peter just...
She's like, it's the same to you, right? And he's like, eh.
Yeah. So I threw that out as like a scene that like I really enjoyed my son. Just like, man, he got shut down. I talk about his Doc Ock's origin being great. Jonah calls Doc a coward in that phone call, of course. Classic Jonah. It was going all right talking about the ransom and then just messes it all up, you know. Classic Jonah. At one point, I can't remember who says the line to set her up, but either Spider-Man or Jonah says something about Doc Ock being all hands or having all these hands, and then Felicia says, all hands reminds me of Flash Thompson.
I'm telling you, man, they were up to something.
So, like, it's that thing, but it's just one thing it struck me once again. It's like, okay, kids' cartoon, don't know what that line needed to be in there, but it's like, and they're not going to get it all. But when you're older, so it's like all hands. So it's like, clearly, it's just like a hooking up sort of situation, I guess, between her and Flash.
I don't think her and Flash are dating.
Okay.
Because I think she, like, tells him, like, we're not dating. Mm-hmm. Like, he's, like, really hitting on her. She's kind of like, oh yeah, like we're... Like,
Felicia cuts it straight, like cut and dry. Like
she'll
tell you what's on her mind.
Oh yeah, she's
I don't like
no
you.
problem. Oh yeah,
like
she's
you.
no problem.
She'll let you know.
We're not dating. You're just my tutor.
Yeah.
I'm just using you.
Yeah. My last note about this episode was I thought that it sucks that Doc Ock has to wear that suit in prison all the time because at the episode
chained to four corners.
Yeah, the episode he's chained in the four corners, and I get it. I guess that's
to lock him down.
Is it the suit that's connected to his body or the arms? And I guess it's all one and the same because the suit are connected to the arms, but it's just, you would think it's very comfortable because I would figure that he at least has a good 20, 30 years sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Doc Ock. So he's going to spend 20 to 30 years in that suit?
Well, he's probably going to break out.
No, but I'm saying, let's think about this.
He has to because it's fused to him.
What? But that's what I mean. So it's just like, that's so uncomfortable. And it's just like,
you get used to it, though.
I guess you'd feel...
You'd have to get used to it.
How do you use the facilities in that suit? Does he have like some sort of ventilation system?
He's a pretty smart guy. I feel like with all the other stuff he's done, he could figure out how to use the restroom.
I think I'll buff out for him.
Okay, fair enough.
I really liked his quote at the end of the show, so I'm just gonna. Are we?
When he laughed hysterically.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else for episode 4? Because that's a good close off.
Good on episode 4.
Kyle, anything else?
No, I was just gonna say like I just really like Doc as the villain.
Mm-hmm.
So let's finish it off with a good quote by him.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay, go for it.
I think when he was when he's telling Peter, like explaining his plot of like why he's doing and why he needs the money, I thought that was really cool, and it gives you an actual point. It's like, oh, okay, and then they actually kind of got more into the science about it all, about him building that fusion and like this is all it needs. Like we can be like making all this power with just doing this, and like you didn't have to buy batteries, and just like him like trying to pitch this idea to someone at the beginning and they're just getting shut down completely. So him like wanting to try to save the world, not like I guess save the world
in a way, yeah,
in a way.
Create something that would better the world,
yeah, kind of just like turned on him. So
yeah,
I thought that was really cool. So that's why I think, yeah, for me, I really like this episode.
Yeah, I think that's good because it gave him good motives. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. Unless you have a really, really cool psychotic villain, the villain you have to like find believable, and you gotta buy his
he has good motives and good ties to Spider-Man, so it's all around. So.
What was your
quote? It's kind of like a little bit Yoda-like. It's very interesting. I lost it. Give me 1 second.
Oh, well,
stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage, not against the genius of Dr. Octopus.
And you like that? And he laughed for a while.
I just love it. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cage. Like, that is some
very
poetry. Very beautiful.
Yeah. He's a smart guy. I would, as we did this last time, I'd give this episode a thumbs up. Very enjoyed it. This is an episode I'd recommend. As like, be like, oh yeah, you should watch that one.
I would watch this one first, personally.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, because they don't give us the origin in those first three. The only thing you need to, well,
and
not kind of need to know.
They don't even talk about MJ, I think, in this episode.
Well, and no, they don't. That's why it was strange because he went on a date with her the last episode. So it's like, it doesn't make it any more clear those past 2 episodes, even with Felicia.
Yeah.
Because and this is the episode 2 where he throws. Sorry, I know you wanted to close up, but he throws Peter through the window, and Felicia's like, Peter, and then he dresses up as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then when he goes back, he pretends he's Peter, and then he's just.
Oh yeah, he like wakes up from the rubble.
Yeah, and they're talking about like, oh, on dates I usually don't get kidnapped, and like, and then they make some back and forth like, oh well, we should do this again. She's like, yeah. So it's like it ends with like.
I feel like right there she might have some sympathy though because he just got messed up.
But they were on a date already at the beginning of the episode though.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the thing of like both 3 and 4 ended in a way where it's like, oh, he's gonna go off with this girl now. Because then we come to 5, which we'll get into that.
Yep.
What is the title of that? The Menace of Mysterio. I'll give you the plot in a second. He's back to dating MJ. Like it feels like these are different seasons. Like one episode he's with Felicia, and one episode he's with MJ. And as a kid,
you know, every day is different.
What? I guess, but as a kid, like this is sending a bad vibe out there. You know, like he's just dating all these girls, like not settling down.
I don't think as a kid I would have picked this up on it though.
I know, but
now
they're
thinking about relationship advice.
Yeah.
Now, okay, who you? I think you said you're rooting for MJ, right? Like if you said you made your prediction, but if you had to pick, you'd rather him be with MJ, right?
MJ is the classic.
Mm-hmm. And are you kind of the same on that?
I think MJ, is the classic, but I don't really know what's happening.
They're both kind of psychotic in their own ways.
Whoa, psychotic. Why psychotic?
Maybe not psychotic.
I think they're both demanding.
They're both kind of crazy.
They both have high
expectations,
I guess. I don't know. I was just wondering if it was any. I was trying to think as a kid if I would have thought any differently. But it's like I don't know.
No, actually, MJ's great. I'm gonna go with MJ.
MJ is great, but there's something about Felicia. You know, there's some. It's that can't have her sort of thing.
Felicia's she's just the damsel in distress. You know, she's kind of
fair. MJ's a little
stronger. She did get kidnapped, I guess.
Mm-hmm. She did by Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
Reasonable, but still it happened.
I'm so excited for you guys to watch this for the first time. Where these characters end up, fantastic. So we're on the Menace of Mysterio.
The Menace.
J. Jonah Jameson. So for people who don't remember, it's Jameson, not Jameson. People think that a lot of times, but it's Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson. And many others believe that Spider-Man is responsible for robberies that have been happening recently. Peter thus decides to search for clues to prove these robberies were caused by a Spider-Man imposter.
Mm-hmm.
He teams up with Detective Lieutenant Terry Lee in search for clues and confronts Mysterio, a self-proclaimed master of mystic arts, based on Amazing Spider-Man number 13. So, what do you guys feel about this episode overall before we go into some of our notes here?
First of all, there's no way it could possibly be Spider-Man himself. Because he's not spewing out one-liners every 3 seconds. I was watching the episode. He was breaking into the Egyptian Museum. I was like, "That's not Spider-Man." Instantly, yeah, I knew the episode was Mysterio, and I was like, he probably is faking it. But like, I was like, "That's not Spider-Man," because where's the one-liner?
Where's the what I'm doing every line?
Yeah, exactly. The narration. Where is it?
Maybe they want to. So you didn't buy it with Spider-Man for a second?
Not even for 1 second.
No. Do you think a kid would?
No.
No,
I think they just. I think they would know something's fishy because why is Spider-Man breaking into a museum?
They set it up in like a little shady way, but like the episode quality overall. What did you think about it?
I really like Mysterio as well. I like the voice. I like the look. He looked so sick. The crystal ball head. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I want to do that Halloween costume so bad, but I have no idea how you could do that. But like. I think he's one of, if I did like a top 10 of best looking characters, he's in that. He's just so cool with the cape and he has the eyes on his shoulders and the fishbowl. It's the cape alone. That purple cape is just badass. He looks great. Not so much Quentin Beck. There's a more like losery sort of nerdy Quentin Beck that I'm more like. This guy he's pretty jacked. Yeah. He's like long ponytail. Like he's a good looking dude. Like the one I know is like, Harry Potter glasses, some bad haircut, so it's like it's all right, but like actual Mysterio, great cool. villain. And I thought the episode overall was like, I think this was probably, the Doc Ock one was the best, I think, written as far as story-wise, but I think for me this was the most fun episode because of all Mysterio's like tricks and attacks. Like the stuff that he does is really cool, and then it turns out when some stuff's real or animatronic, like
this is basically giving you the origin of Spider-Man episode, isn't it?
Yeah, it is too. Yeah, and it's like
with Uncle Ben.
Yeah, because is it?
Because he's like, because this is where he gives up on himself.
Why? Because the people are all against him, right? Yeah, and that I think that's what. Once again, like I'm gonna blow the show a little bit, but like I feel like you think back then. Like 1994, and it just seems like a kid's cartoon. There's a lot packed in this episode, but it flows well, and it's all really good. Like you have Spider-Man, like it feels like a movie. Spider-Man's done it, the people turn on him. You're getting the origin story.
Yeah, I like that. That's Mysterio's goal is just to dethrone Spider-Man. He brings him up to the bridge specifically so that he could
make sure helicopters are around, everything like that.
Yeah, just so everyone could see, and obviously that goes back to like when Spider-Man, messed with his
the robber guy.
His plan like a few years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah. Which, it's so funny because it's obviously the origin's always the same with Uncle Ben, but you think of the Tobey movie, the way the origin happens in this movie, not even how it happens, like also Uncle Ben gets shot, everything like this, but the way it's like laid out, it's identical to the Tobey Maguire movie. Like it goes from wrestling to the locker to the wrestler running, and then the only way they change it is the mugger broke into their house instead of breaking into Ben's car. But then they do the whole thing where he tracks him down the warehouse and he takes his mask, and it's like you can tell that the people that made the Tobey Spider-Man movie were fan. It happens in the comics, but just the way it's laid out in the show feels identical to the way it's laid out in the Peter one, or in the Peter movie, the Spider-Man movie with Tobey. Like, and I like that you get this one where I felt like. You learn a little bit about Peter, obviously, because of the origin in the last episode, but this one really felt like more of a character development and study for Peter, of like him giving up, which like I didn't like, because it's like he just kind of gives up. He's like, that's it, I'm just going to be Peter. But like he came back around, and he's like, I need to be Spider-Man. You get that inspirational music going on.
And you get the detective really pump his tires of trying to like be back to Spider-Man. Like, I need Spider-Man. Like, I know he's not bad.
Well,
it gives him that gleam of hope to turn around.
Because I can't truthfully remember if she ever finds out that it's Peter, but I thought she was gonna drop that bomb on him right there when she's like, "I know something." Like, and I was like, "This
You're
is really
always around when Spider-Man."
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, does she just figure it out right here? Does she just dose it? Is she gonna drop surprise motherfucker on him?" And then like, "Oh man,
that would be great."
But like. I love all the effects. I think it's one of the final battle is really fun with the web and the monster.
I think the whole final battle is good except for like the very end when Mysterio makes like a line of like 5 or 6 of himself, and he's like, "You have to find out which one." And Spider-Man jumps.
Senses.
He's midair. He's like, "I'm going to use my senses," and then you've already chosen the target like, before you said that. Like it was a little bit of a lame payoff, I guess.
That's fair.
But the rest of the battle was great, and I like too. The one thing I really like about both Dr. Octopus and Mysterio is they don't deal with like Spider-Man's bullshit. So like a lot of time like they realize that he's powerful obviously, but he's not that powerful. Most of the time he outthinks them. But there's a point when like he's at the very Mysterio's chilling at the top of the bridge and Spider-Man makes it up there and he's like, "Oh, now what do you got next?" And Mysterio just like throws some fireballs at him, just like so casually. He's like, "Dude, you're so lame. Like just get out of here."
Yeah.
Stop throwing these one-liners at him.
where other villains get like, as a spoiler, like Scorpion, you can tell he kind of gets a little annoyed by the one-liners, stuff like that. Like he's not cool, calm, collect. My favorite Mysterio effect in the episode is when he throws the thing that leads to like the yellow brick.
The yellow brick road.
Yeah, the yellow brick road. That was super sick.
And then it just embarrasses him because it's not actually like a pathway. It's just
yeah,
a wall.
and he just hits the wall.
He's like, oh, I fell for it again.
Yeah, I would agree on that final battle thing. It's one of those things of like, I like that they stick with him because like truthfully, Mysterio as a villain is like a one-hit villain because he's a weak guy. Like he's not a fighter or anything like that. Yeah. So I like that, but it is that thing of like, in obviously it's cartoon, they don't have much time, but I would like to see them use more of the Mysterio like thing. But like that gets me excited for like the day when they're like, oh, Mysterio's the villain in the new Spider-Man Marvel movie, and like that final battle should be 20 Mysterios of illusions, and then him just hitting every single one, and them disappearing, and him having to take them off. Like it does seem like it'd be like a really really cool final battle in a movie, like ending like third act. But with this, it is kind of like, oh, I got all these Mysterios, and then like. You know, super kick, game over.
I think this might be the first episode too where you find out that Spider-Man like actually has like cartridges rather than like an actual ability because
I think he's the one who like mentions them
because he breaks into Beck's like place and he finds the like little cube that has like the illusions on it, and then he also finds like what he's been using as Spider-Man's things.
Because remember, Spider-Man's webbing dissolves after a few hours because he wants to keep the city clean, you know?
Yeah. So I thought that was...
Mysterio's, no.
I don't know, maybe that wasn't the first mention, but that was the first time I picked it out.
I feel like
it's definitely might have just been because I was not as into the show the first episode, so I wasn't paying attention to every detail.
I think they episodes.
Yeah, I think they did show him do it, but I think this was the first time him really going into what makes the webbing different, or like it not being from his arm, but like...
Suction cups, that's cool. That's funny too.
But like I did pick up on that too, but like I have notes. We didn't even talk to the notes. And I think that's what shows like this episode and the Doc Ock one being good. That like we go back to our notes at the end, but the other ones were like, oh yeah, I had this and this.
Yeah.
But like these ones, I feel like we can talk about because like that moment was cool and that.
There was just a lot of really cool scenes in this one.
Yeah,
a lot of cool battle stuff.
And there's a lot of episodes like in the Batman animated series and X-Men that, and this is what I refer to this. Is a lot of episodes where like, oh, I'd like to see a movie of this, you know. And this is one of those episodes where Doc Ock, we already got that movie, so it's like I'm not gonna say that because it was pretty similar. He's making a machine for power. Like it's very similar to Doc Ock Toby movie to this, where this is like Mysterio hasn't been done. This is one where like I'd like to see it, and that'd be a good tool for like Tom Holland's Spider-Man to be like he's a hero and he's with the Avengers, but then someone's framing him to be like this bad guy, and then you could have like Tony being like, what, like are you robbing his bank, stuff like that. Like no, I don't do that.
That could definitely work.
Yeah, like in that world. So it's like I think there's many episodes we'll come across with that, but this is the first episode discounting Doc that I was like, oh, I'd love to see like a live action movie of this, you know. It really worked out. So yeah, I think I have notes. Oh, I think my favorite line in the episode does not go to Spider-Man this time. It goes to Mysterio. I always did like a good cliffhanger when he asked, and because like I like too how Spider-Man's like his sense go off. He's like, oh, those can't be the rubble, and then the rubble just take him out because it's like the real wall. And like he has these little, you know, his little power shoots. This was another episode. I talked about the last Spider-Man Retrospective. This one felt very much like Peter was not a loser because the way he was talking with MJ and everything like that. Because the episode actually kicks off with them making a date, and then they're...
Okay, I want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the phone.
He's on the work, doing her work.
That was so funny. She was just doing like aerobics or something.
Yeah.
That whole scene just made me laugh so hard. It just looked so strange. I think there was even a scene where like you could hear her talking, but it was just like her legs moving or something. Like it was just like zoomed in like on that. It was so weird.
Yeah, she was like super fit, super into physical activity, everything like that. And yeah, it definitely threw me off. And then, yeah, that's what happens with their little storyline too, where... they make a date, and then
he has to bail.
He bails, and then she
gets to tutor her. She asked him to tutor him.
No, that was Felicia.
That was Felicia. Yeah, no, this was a full-on date. They're gonna go see a movie.
You're thinking of next episode.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna go on a date, and then she gets fiery, and she's like, "Oh, is that what you think, Parker? I'm just like, you can like just bail me." Yeah. And then at the end, he's like, you see out of the like the theme song, the ones where the classic, like she puts down the paper. He's reading like, "Oh, Spider-Man, catch Mysterio." She does the paper. And I felt like really easily, like accepts his apology. Like she felt really fiery on the phone for him bailing, and then she's just like, "Oh, I was in a mood, and I was really mad." Like I was like, but he still bailed on you. You know, he didn't really like he kind of apologized, but he didn't go out of his way. Yeah. It would have been like if he would have dropped off flowers at her house and was like, "Oh, from Peter," then you'd be like, "Oh," then when you see her next, you'd be like, "Okay, I forgive you." But it just kind of
it's
like
because she likes him.
I know,
she really likes
but it
him.
felt like she had no other person to date. She was like, "Well, I guess I gotta stick it out with Peter." So
you take what you can get.
And I guess he can get Peter. Yeah, I did put in that I felt like, obviously it's a short episode, but he quits being Spider-Man very quick. He's just like, you know what? as far as this point in the show, first time he's really had any big adversity with the public.
Yeah.
And he's just like, fuck it, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
did not take much to make Peter break down. The other note I had is at the very first part of the phone call, whatnot, I had MJ as like, she's spiffy, she's fun, and she's fiery. This was the first episode. I love Mary Jane, but this is the first episode in this series so far that make you, I think, really like her character, and you can see why she's different than Felicia.
Yeah.
Because shows do that a lot, where she's just normal, she feels different than Felicia, and she feels like her own character, which is good.
I think she brings up her own, she is into doing dance or some sort of theater.
Sports. No.
Well, obviously sports, but
Yikes.
yeah.
She's not like most girls. But did you get that feeling, Dylan, that she's like she feels like a much different character than not even just Felicia, but she stands out to me.
She's definitely, her and Felicia definitely. I think it was this episode and the last episode where you really see them split ways. Before it was 1, 2, and 3, it's just like
Love
it seems like they could have put either one in any episode and it wouldn't have made a difference. But this one, you really, in episode 4, you see that Felicia's kind of just, I don't know, maybe
a little selfish.
Yeah,
for sure is.
Yeah. And then MJ is more friendly and more,
more down to
she respects him.
Yeah, definitely more down to earth. Because you can tell Felicia's like...
She wants to hang out with Peter because she wants to hang out with Peter, not because she wants, some tutoring and stuff.
Mm.
And Aunt May is really pumping the tires for MJ.
Oh, big time.
Oh.
They're shipping it really hard.
Oh, yeah.
She just wants her fucking friend and her Peter to get married.
Yeah.
I put this. Jonah embraces Mysterio very easily in this episode. Mysterio's in town, stops Spider-Man once, and he's just like, boom, he's the new hero, embraces.
It's because he hates Spider-Man.
But this contradicts in the next episode when he's like, oh, I couldn't trust somebody with a mask.
Yeah.
But he loves Mysterio until he gets that phone call, which once again, he ends up in Mysterio's lab, captured, always getting in trouble. But
that did seem a little inconsistent, I will say.
Yeah, now that I saw episode 6, but it's like, this is just a critique on Jonah, but he was just right away like, oh yeah, loving, Mysterio's the guy, he's the man, and he's just been around for one time, all he did was stop Spider-Man, but I just had to throw that out that, they make this big deal in the next episode that he can't trust these masked figures, but
here he is trusting a masked figure.
If he'd be like, oh, it's because it's a fishbowl, it's not a mask.
It's because he got screwed over. That's why he can't trust him anymore.
Oh, no. Why? Yeah.
In the next episode,
but then why does he trust Mysterio? Because remember, his whole purpose is...
sorry, does he say that he doesn't trust people with masks this episode?
No, in the next episode. But
that's fine.
But
in the next episode,
but his wife was still killed.
But
so it's like learning stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't... In the next episode, if he also, somehow alluded to Mysterio as part of that, but he doesn't. It's just,
no.
It's because of, we'll talk about it.
I think it's the fishbowl. I think that's it. He's like, it's not a mask. It's
he likes fish.
It's different.
He likes to go fishing, so he likes a fishbowl.
I would give this episode a thumb up, maybe 2 thumbs up. So far, this is my favorite episode that we've watched. I really, really like the Doc Ock one, but it's just a thing of, I like Mysterio. I like the way he fights. I like the effects and everything like that. Yeah. Even though I feel I think you're right. I feel like the finale with Doc Ock's a bit better because of the way it pays off. But there's just something about, I liked the whole, we got the origin, we got some stuff with MJ, we got him being framed. There's a lot in this episode and that's where it's
20 minutes.
Yeah, that's where it's funny where you hit the Spider Slayer episodes where it's it feels like not anything happens those 20 minutes. It feels slow. Where this to me went by really fast. It's over.
Yeah, I feel like I learned more about this episode than I did of all of Suicide Squad.
Wow.
Yikes.
Just had to throw that in. Just had to rattle the DC fans. But yeah, thumbs up for me on that one. Big thumbs up.
I only have one more thing about this episode.
Okay.
One quick quote. And then also, so there's a point in the battle, after Spider-Man's been spinning on that giant, the vertigo machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. And then Mysterio sends some beasts at him, like a Medusa and a werewolf. And there's this really funny scene where there's a werewolf coming up to Spider-Man, and he just, slaps it. I'm trying to... How would you describe this kind of slap? Because this is how he takes
a palm slap.
Yeah.
Palms
he straight up palm slaps a werewolf in the face, and it just knocks him back 10 feet.
Is that the werewolf that's disguised as Mysterio? When he walks up to the computer and there's this a cloak in the fishbowl, and he's like, I got you now, Mysterio, and he turns him around, and something's in there. I'm not sure if it's a wolf, but something's in there.
If it was him or if it was just one of the spawns.
Mm-hmm. I did like that too.
It was so funny. It was just a straight palm slap.
Boom!
I've never seen Spider-Man do that kind of battle move.
He loves fighting with his
I'm going to pair that with a quick quote from that very similar scene. Spider-Man's confused. There's all these beasts around him. He doesn't know which one is Mysterio. He's like, figure it out when you're gone. It won't be an illusion.
You're really liking these villains' quotes here.
I'm just writing down all the good quotes.
Thumbs up for you, Dylan, I take it?
Yeah, I like this episode a lot.
Kyle?
Thumbs up as well, too.
All right, we move on to, and this is going to be interesting because I think it's an interesting episode.
Okay.
The Sting of the Scorpion. Matt Gargan, a small-time crook hired by J. Jonah Jameson.
Very small-time crook.
To follow Peter Parker and to find out how he's able to get these pictures of Spider-Man. Strikes a deal with Jameson to eliminate Spider-Man. Gargan is taken into a lab where he is transformed into supervillain Scorpion, based on the Amazing Spider-Man issue 19 to 20. Now, I want to start with Dylan, because you right away said you really liked 4 to 5, and you did not include 6. I want to know why.
For me, 6, honestly, it's very much on the same tier, if maybe just a little bit better than the first episode.
Okay.
Just in terms of, like, I think the villain kind of has that same sort of prowess as the Lizard King kind of thing.
Lizard Man, Lizard King. I'm looking forward to next time Lizard's on here.
Lizardling,
Lizardling, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This episode just it wasn't, because I think the reason I really liked 4 and 5 was because of the villain. Obviously, we pretty much just talked about Octopus and Mysterio that whole time. But yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't as big a fan as Scorpion. I can't remember what his name is.
In real life?
Yeah,
Matt Gargan.
Matt Gargan.
Yeah, who's Venom too in the future. Not in the comics. In the comics.
Yeah, so I don't know. It just wasn't the same to me. I did like the part with Jameson. You get a little bit of backstory there. It's nice to actually have some of that. I really liked. Well, I don't know. That's just my overall. Is that it wasn't quite on the same tier as the last 2 episodes.
That's fair. Kyle, what do you think?
I can agree with what Dylan was saying. Jameson's kind of like, I feel like he's kind of more of the villain.
Well, I'm gonna.
I'll bring that up. The brains of this idea of like, okay, like we gotta. First of all, it's like we just gotta figure out who Spider-Man is, which is fine. Yeah. But then like it starts getting worse. He's like, oh, like if you do this, like
he wants Spider-Man to be killed.
It's also it's like
they say eliminate, but to be killed.
But like his whole purpose was to find out who Spider-Man was, not to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, I think demasking Spider-Man is almost the same as killing him.
Yeah, because the guy will probably go to prison, or they'll be like, villains be like, oh, that's some kid named Peter Parker. Let's go like kill him and his aunt.
Yeah.
Like, and this is like, and before we go into Jonah, I think I like the episode probably a lot more than you two do, but I think the way Dylan laid it out is probably the best way that I think it is the weakest out of these 3 for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still better for me than those other 2, definitely than the Slayer ones. But like, I think you're kind of right. The way like I like it more than you think, but I think you laid it out as being like, it's a little bit better than the Lizard story, because you get like. It's kind of like a mini episode 5 where you get a little backstory of Jameson. You get like to see more of Felicia. So it's like there's stuff going on, which I find these episodes move quicker when there's a lot going on.
You know, just Octopus and Mysterio, they just look more badass. I like their voices more. That even just down to like literally the animation. And
I'll fight you on the look. I always loved the look of Scorpion.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
Okay,
sorry. It felt like he was wearing like a suit.
Well, they're all wearing suits.
No. Well, he's a Scorpion, but like it felt like he was just wearing like a fake like costume.
You didn't get the Scorpion vibe from him?
I got the Scorpion vibe. It just didn't feel real.
None of it's real.
What?
I've just always liked the look. Maybe because here he doesn't look too intimidating. Like more in comics and toys and whatnot, he's usually like metal instead of like just a unitard. So I think that would have helped. But I can see the point. And he's kind of like other than him being lied to by Jameson, as far as like not even lied to, Jameson didn't know those powers were gonna mess him up. So that's kind of his thing. It's like it's messing with his DNA, and he's like, "What'd you do to me? Like you've been lying." So, but it's still not as. It's definitely not as good of an origin as Doc Ock as far as the motives. Quentin Beck's motives are not the strongest as far as Spider-Man just kind of like...
But Mysterio is so badass.
It makes up for it. Where, like, I can see where both... Like, it's... I think more Matt Gargan is not the most badass guy, and then he doesn't have the greatest origin, so he's kind of like a twofer of like, oh, he's just alright. Like, I do feel like he's a least better villain than Lizard, but I like the obviously it's from the comics, but I like the route it takes in the show of like Jameson hires him and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, this is a question I'll pose. At the end of this episode, I feel like Jameson should go to prison.
I feel like he should too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're all on the same page.
He does technically hit the big red button.
But like I feel, but the amount at one point they zoom out when they zoom out at the
Well,
day
that
of
is
Dougal.
the must. Yeah, okay, yes. That's when he says like, oh, like I'm gonna find out when you're Spider-Man. He's like, you're gonna find that out as soon as you shave off that mustache.
Yeah.
But like at one point they're looking at the day of Dougal and they're looking over at New York and there's all this damage and destruction and it's like he did this like doing the suit. Like,
No. That wasn't. That was like a what could be. Because like if that like thing exploded and destroyed the whole city, that's what it would have looked like.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I missed
That's
something.
not actually what happened.
Okay, because
No.
I'm like Scorpion destroyed a lot. He still destroyed
He
like a
did-
water barrel and stuff like that.
He
still
destroyed that. He
some
destroyed
stuff.
that water thing, but he didn't actually destroy the city. I don't think. I'm pretty sure that was just like this is what's going to happen if those pylons reach the max height or whatever.
Okay, then fair enough. I still don't feel like he gets a pass. I feel like he goes to prison. They didn't really explain how he knows this scientist. He's just kind of like this whole time. He's I guess just been sitting on this scientist who wants to make a supervillain.
Isn't at some point Jameson like talking with like Osborn or something like too like Kingpin? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he's just always
No, he was
mucking
talking with
around
him
with
in
the
that
bad
episode,
guys.
too.
But he's not a bad guy. But like you'll find out later on, he does have like a past. But he's not a bad guy like now. Like I don't know. Like
I don't know.
I
I
feel
felt
like-
like he was a villain in this.
I do, and I felt like in like this series, in particular this episode, he crossed a line that like he's before it was like oh fun J. Jonah Jameson, but like now it's kind of like man like he should be a felon.
Yeah,
like,
and but then even too like right at the end of the episode, he's like Spider-Man's like, oh, does this mean we're like even now? He's like, no,
yeah,
I'm still gonna try and kill you. It's like what? Like, do you not realize the gravity of the last two episodes and like what your actions have been doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, you need to change your thinking.
And I think that's kind of Spider-Man's fault too, because he's after all these other villains that does this bad stuff. But with Spider-Man or with Jay, he's just like, well, he's just trying to get me.
He's my boss.
Yeah,
I'll screw over my
but it's
boss.
like I would still bring him to the police. I would bring him to Detective.
Yeah. He was plotting to kill him.
Yeah, I had to bring him to like. How is he any different than any of the other villains?
He's acting like a Kingpin kind of guy,
Yeah.
where he's
Yeah.
hiring other goons to take him out.
And as the episode we've seen, I think he got a lot closer than Smythe and Kingpin got. So
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of unrelated to what's his name again?
Matt Gargan.
Yeah, unrelated to that character.
Why you have a really want to call him Matt
I just
Gargan?
blanked
instead of
on. I
Scorpion.
literally blanked on Scorpion as well.
Oh,
I just
okay.
blanked on like the villain in general, but I got it now. This is before he introduced. They introduced that character at the very start of the episode. Spider-Man's fighting like just some goons that just have like a giant rocket launcher for some reason.
Oh yeah,
But I really like that
street.
scene because like it's like that classic scene where Spider-Man's hanging upside down and he's like just like tick-tock back like a clock and they just like keep shooting rockets. They just keep missing it.
And where are those RPGs going too when they go?
Oh, I
past
know. I was
them?
like, that's not good for the atmosphere. Like, at all.
No,
I just really like that scene because he's just I don't know. I thought that was a funny little scene at the start of the episode.
yeah, it was a good action start. Jay's calling you about photos. I guess if we go back a little bit. Well, actually, no. Let's talk about one thing before we move on from Jay. So I kind of understand his motives, but not really. I feel like he skews them. One, his origin is he was married. He was obviously working on a story. They told him back off. He didn't work on the story, and I know what happens, but it's still just like for a cartoon. I'm surprised. Like I had forgot that they showed this. They cut away quick, but they still show a guy drive by with a mask and a fedora, put a gun out the window, and shoot his wife. It's like a silhouette of a guy.
Oh, he shot her?
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
drive-by.
oh.
You didn't understand that?
I thought he ran her over, but
No.
same difference.
Same.
Yeah,
I thought he was trying to drive into him, and then I guess he was trying to. Well, he was trying to shoot at Jameson, but then he missed and hit his wife.
Yeah, because
right?
he said that. Yeah, he said they tried
I
to
guess it doesn't
shoot,
matter, yeah.
even though Jonas Jameson was not in that flashback at all. Well, every time
It was
they
just
show,
his wife,
yeah, but he
wasn't
said they tried to shoot me, but they hit her.
I think it was from his perspective. So
Okay.
You wouldn't see yourself.
But just the fact of once again in the 90s, like they like show a drive-by on a cartoon. Like even then, like I thought they could be like, oh, a masked individual took my wife, or I lost my wife because that. But like no, they cut really quick, so it's not
It
like
was very quick.
yeah. But you can get the implication of his wife is dead, and like I think running over her is bad, yeah. But I think a drive-by is much worse. Like it's a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And I get it, but the thing is like. He's equating a guy who's a mobster that put on a mask just to hide his identity to like Spider-Man and like all these other villains, and I think they're fully on different levels. But he is just like, yeah,
Mask, don't trust him. So this guy must fucking hide in a bombshell when it's Halloween. Like, he's gotta get out of here, or else he's gonna be just killing kids like there's no tomorrow. Looking like Anakin Skywalker. Like, he has to leave town. You know?
I killed them all. The men, the women, the children too. All for the fair. Yeah, you're right. But like, yeah, and that was my thing. Like, I didn't buy. Like, it was kind of like, oh, okay, his wife died, and then it's like, yeah, because a guy was wearing a mask. It's like,
I mean, the only thing I do like about it is that we kind of get some backstory. Mm-hmm. We get some sort of motive of why he's an asshole, but it still doesn't really explain all of why he's an asshole.
It did,
and it's kind of inconsistent too. Yeah,
it did. Well, especially from last episode, we talked about episode 5, Finding Mysterio, and like. We talked about too, like, I think it was it fluffed him up a bit, but not enough to be like, oh, he shouldn't go to prison. It was still like,
especially with the way the episode ends too, right? And how he's like, oh, I'm still after you, Spider-Man. Like, it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, and at that point, I'm like, well, you're gonna go to prison. But I just had to mention that with Jay because that was just very dark and took a turn for the worse, I think.
And it's kind of a kid show as well too. At the end of the day.
Oh yeah, it is. Like, and they did a drive-by. I don't know how they got that cleared. Who read that and it was in the night? Yeah, drive-by.
But that's another thing I like about the series is just there's so much more. I think as a kid, like, you just miss so much storyline.
Oh yeah, you're just starting to see Spider-Man beat up people.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's awesome. But then now, what I really like what we're doing is just rewatching these.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny when we watch these things. We're like, I'm critiquing these in the same level I'm critiquing Hannibal or like Daredevil or like any movie. So it's like. It has to be a good story with good characters.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and I think that's why like this and the X-Men and the Batman one stands out because like they clearly are for like kids and family, but you can tell the people that worked on these put an effort, not only reading like the source material, but like there is stuff where I feel like the past 2 episodes we both agreed like we really like those, and there's stuff that we can go back. There's many cartoon series I could throw there that is just you watching, you're like, man, I should never watch this because it was like I was a kid, you know, it's like not as good. But this, I think. It's very watchable and stuff like that. Like, it feels like it's, like you said, you miss a lot of stuff when you're a kid. And it's written that you could watch as an adult. And I wish there was more stuff like that nowadays because, like, when I have kids, I would love to have this. Like, oh, the kid likes to see Spider-Man beat up people, but then there's still, like, a story I can follow.
Like, you can sit and actually watch the show with. So.
Yeah. To go back to the constant love metal nest, the episode starts. This is when we get that start of Felicia saying that Peter's just a tutor. This is when it really...
She friend zones him hard.
I thought the love relationship was muddled, but this is to me when it got really muddled. Because you're like, it's just, he's your tutor. You guys have been on dates together. And the last episode she was in ended with saying they're going to go on another date. Mm-hmm. And then this episode ends with her saying that maybe she's like, she kind of says they could go on a date, but then she still hits him when she's like, oh, I'd go to dinner. And she's like, maybe lunch. So it's like...
Well, here, okay, one thing I'm just thinking about right now is... Because she wasn't in episode 5, right?
No, it's literally gone like her, Mary Jane, her,
so
it's back and forth.
In episode 4, doesn't she have like a moment with Spider-Man, like specifically Spider-Man?
Something, yeah. I think they kind of hint that she's kind of... I think she calls him cute Spider-Man or something like that.
She says something, and I remember Spider-Man's like, well, we have something in common. We both look good in tight clothes or something like that.
Yeah, he does say that. And Spider-Man's super... That number 4 episode's quite sexual.
So what I'm thinking is like maybe she's like veering away from being in a relationship with Peter because maybe she likes Spider-Man. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to...
Ladies and gentlemen, Dilmas has not even read a comic book. You like hit the money on the head there.
What do you mean?
With what you laid out there with what happens.
Okay.
Well, yeah. It's not fully in the show, but there's literally in the comic books at one point, this is not happening in the show, Spider-Man and Felicia, he reveals Peter Parker, she doesn't want... They're kissing as Spider-Man and Felicia, she reveals it's Peter, she doesn't want to be with them, even though...
What?
Yeah, that happens in the comic books.
Yikes.
So she like only wants him when he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm Peter. We could be together." And it's like, "No, like you're a loser. You're not."
She's the opposite of Jameson. She loves.
Yeah, like she views Spider-Man as really, really cool, really whatever. And yeah, Peter's just this loser who she's like, "That's it. That does not happen in the show. In the comics, that does happen. She turns Peter away, and that's the end of it.
Wow.
In one continuity, but that's very famous continuity. Right. So
okay.
I just had to shout that out. It was mini spoilery, but like just because you were saying that, I was like, "Oh, I have to shout that out because fans are gonna be like, oh, so of course he knows it's going in this direction." But no, he didn't. But it does take a similar vibe, I think, in the but like not as much in the cartoon.
She is messing with him though. Yeah.
Yeah, in the cartoon,
she's a total jerk.
In the cartoon, throughout the series, there's a lot of like back and forth between Mary Jane and Felicia. But at points, it seems more clear. Where right now, it still just feels very muddled. That Peter is
I don't know what's going on.
Playing the field, or he likes them both. Like it's very.
And then Fleischer's playing him.
Oh yeah, like
and MJ's just there.
Yeah. One thing, you know what? I have this another theme. Jonah got captured again in the episode 4 in a row.
Classic.
I would say I like the final battle better in Doc Ock and Mysterio and whatnot, but I think the actual hand-to-hand fight that Scorpion and Spider-Man had on the rooftop has been my favorite fight scene, truthfully, because the Doc Ock one was good, but many times he would always just hit Spider-Man goes away, and then he hits him again. Like, it was still good, but this one was the best, like...
Choreographed?
Yeah, like throwing stuff, like flips, like, yeah, like exactly that. Best choreographed. So that was my favorite fight scene so far, the episodes we've seen. Like, really liked it. You know?
We haven't really talked about Scorpion and his motives and stuff. What do you guys think? What do you think of that, Kyle?
It's just his motives? I think it's just...
It's purely money, right?
Really...
It starts off that way.
Well, what I kind of like about it is that he starts out and he's kind of salty because he's turned into this monster he wasn't expecting to be.
Oh, for sure salty.
And he's still like, you can still see that he's a sane person.
Yeah.
But then he goes through like 2 evolutions and like where he just like metamorphosizes a little bit, and that happens like twice, and each time he gets a little more crazy. And so he makes less logical decisions, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, well, I think, like, Matt Gargan's motives are fine, because he just wants money. They say, oh, sure, pay me. And then after that, he just kind of comes crazy. And it's like, spoiler, the next time you see Scorpion, he's not that size. So they don't... I was thrown off because I didn't remember he, like, grew to Hulk size. Yeah. So I kind of thrown off, like, next time we see him, why is he back to regular, normal Scorpion size? So it's like, but... I like Scorpion because of the look, and he's a good fighter, but like I definitely one of the like weakers we had so far as motives. Because at one point he's gonna do something that's gonna destroy the city too, and he's not. It didn't seem like he was that type of guy.
And at the end, like towards, he's just wanting to get back at Jameson.
Oh yeah, because Jameson lied to him.
Yeah. And so it was like no longer really a villain against Spider-Man. He's just like pushed up against Spider-Man because he has to, because he's doing it for money. But nothing against Spider-Man.
Not really, no.
He just doesn't like being called names.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he found that really offensive. Big time. My favorite line in the episode, green ball in the center pocket. At one point, he kicks Scorpion, and he's falling down. Like, just something, he's just like, green ball in the center pocket.
I didn't pick up on that. That's good.
Really like that one, yeah.
I didn't have any, like, distinct quotes from this episode, actually.
That the quotes are going down now.
I guess this was just an episode that wasn't packed full of, great quotes.
I'll start. I'm actually gonna give it the thumbs up. I still quite enjoyed it. Definitely not as strong as the other 2, but it's still like it's more like it's not as strong as a thumb up. Like it's like the kind of that thumb up in 7-Up where it's like you can tell it's up, but you could easily push it down. But I still walked away. I was like, okay, I really enjoyed the episode. Really liked it.
I'll give it a thumbs up just because I really like the Jameson backstory.
That's fair.
And I feel like if it wasn't for that, it would have just been like another 1 to 3 type thing.
Okay.
Well, I guess even though Jameson's pretty evil, he's pretty evil.
He's a bad guy.
He officially has gone a bad guy in this episode. This was the on the line, and now he's crossed it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially because he doesn't learn from his mistakes.
No. Do it again. He almost destroyed a whole city by creating the Scorpion guy.
Yeah.
But then he saved the day, so it's all
So I'm still going to give it a thumbs up.
For me, well, it's weird, because talking about this episode back, it seems like a better episode than when I watched it. Because I remember watching it, and it kind of had the 1 to 3 feel where I was like, this is kind of boring a little bit. So, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a middle thumb.
Give him the middle
because
thumb?
Watching it, I remember I wasn't stoked, but talking back, there is some good stuff there, but I don't know.
I think you just have to, yeah.
If there was no spicy quotes, that I picked out that I could write down, and like instantly the episode, it docked a couple marks, unfortunately. Sorry, Scorpion. But.
And then I think I know your 2's answer, so I'll start favorite episode 3. I'd go with Menace of Mysterio. I really like the Doc Ock one, but I just like the Mysterio one just like a tiny bit more, just a little bit more unique. So that's for me the 3 that we reviewed today.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I'm gonna go number 4. I like Dr. Octopus episode more.
Dr. Octopus, armed and dangerous.
I think I'm gonna go with 4 as well too, just because the more scientific approach it was with the episode.
Do you think we'll ever do 1 or 3 episodes where we each pick a different episode?
I think so.
Nice.
I think down the line we legitimately will, especially when they get into like an X-Men crossover stuff where there's like 3 episodes in a row that are really good, and we have like, I kind of like that, or I kind of like that. I'm excited for that one. So
if you're a listener and you haven't actually like watched these and you just listen to them for fun, definitely check out 4, 5, and 6. I would
Yeah.
say if you want to get into it, you could honestly skip 1 to 3 and start 4.
Do you need to watch 2, 4? The only reason I thought that is for the Felicia relationship and to know that Smythe's dad dies.
Because I feel like episode 4 sets up Felicia's story
And
as
you
like
don't
a
deal
new
with
thing that
Smythe.
works.
You will eventually again though.
But if you're just wanting to see what the TV show's about, I feel like you
did say they have a lot of flashbacks of it.
They do.
So you don't necessarily need to see it.
Yeah,
It's like
True.
the Uncle Ben thing. We didn't actually see the Uncle Ben thing happen in real time. We watched it in a flashback.
I'm
and
gonna
it
say
still
if you
has the same feel.
want to watch one episode, go between 4 or 5. If you're just gonna start I'm not gonna start the series. I just want to see what.
If you want to get sold, watch it.
I'd say because the thing is like they do that thing with Smythe and Kingpin that he says Smythe's gonna be locked up until he kills him.
Yeah.
So it's the thing of like I feel like if you're interested in the Smythe character, go back and watch 2.
Yeah.
Only 2. 3 is just the same thing over pretty much. It's just it's Spider Slayers. But then you do that. Then you get the first appearance of MJ. So like
at the end of the day, they're 20-minute episodes. You can just fly through them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they're not like movies. You could definitely, but like, no, I think this is a much better trilogy than the first trilogy of episodes. So,
for sure.
I'm very excited to see.
Or if you just want to recap, we did episodes 1, 2, 3 last month. That's in 40 minutes, so you save 20 whole minutes of time of your life.
Oh, exactly.
And you don't have to watch anything; you can just listen to it.
And we got some good episodes coming up the next year. I'm very excited.
Very spicy.
But yeah, you can go to geekverse.com. You can find us everywhere on Twitter, Facebook, all our social media, iTunes,
Definitely
SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher Radio, the whole shebang. You can find us everywhere. Catch us monthly for the Spider-Man Retrospective. And until then, you can
catch us on the web.
Thank you for tuning in.